Hey, good morning. I'm Greg Pofrel. I'm a collaborator here at the library. I can hardly wait to show someone this collection. I discovered it many months ago down here in the kitchen under a huge pile of McAllister books, papers, and it laid buried for years until I started to rearrange stuff and discovered this philosopher and wonderful author. His name is Elbert Hubbard. Quite an extraordinary man. So many people talked about his writings about philosophy, religion, politics, literature, business, self-improvement. He even wrote about why you shouldn't hire people that smoke. That was back in 1906. In 1890, he started a colony up in East Aurora, New York called the Roycrofters. Oh, there's workshops, there's a publishing house, and he had sometimes 500 workers. And this guy wrote about everything, whether it's philosophy, religion, economics, business. He interviewed a lot of the great business people. James J. Hill, he wrote about James J. Hill, Mayor Rothschild. In fact, some of the books, he was really influenced by William Morris, a socialist in the 1800s, who really had great regard for medieval crafts, believe it or not. And if you look through some of their promotions and ads and the work that they do, a lot of it is all homemade stuff. They didn't think a worker should do anything more than once and have repetitive work. They even stitched their books together. So there's something to discover in every one of these books, but one of the most important, and I think it defined him, it made him pretty famous, A Message to Garcia. He wrote, this was about the real hero of the Spanish-American War. He wrote this after Sunday dinner. He said it took him about an hour. I'm not too sure how right that is. He exaggerates. He does a lot of exaggeration. I find it wonderful. Once you get to see his writings, it's a fun read. But The Message of Garcia sold close to 4 million copies. Think about this, back in the early 1900s. And to publish that many, this Message of Garcia, very famous. So he goes from the small pamphlets to his major work, which is the Philistine periodical of protest. June 1895, that's the beginning of his works. One of the things that I found fascinating is in 1915, the January issue of the Philistine, he wrote against World War I. It was called the World War I number, the war number. Later in May 7th, 1915, he and his wife were aboard the Lusitania when it was sunk by a German U-boat. The irony is he was protesting against World War I and wrote about that in one of his later series books. He wrote against World War I, and yet he and his wife died on the Lusitania. His family tried to carry on a little bit more, but his books, and I think they've been published more, but this is one of the original collections. You're picking up a book that's over 100 years old, and they're just extraordinary condition. So come in and enjoy a good read, but also you'll learn more and more about Elbert Hubbard and the times in which he lived. And he reveals it all in one way or another. Just some fantastic research. So hope you make it.